You may be a new shooter, a longtime gun owner, or even a police officer or soldier. No personal defense handgun is fully equipped without a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge, Crimson Trace.
Today on Gun Talk, Tom talks with a new group that says it's for gun safety, but some call it a gun control group in disguise. We'll talk home defense from locks and lights to guns, and an open carry activist who recently won a case for open carry in county parks. Plus, Tom is looking for your range reports on guns and gear you like or don't, and your phone calls at 866-TALK-GUN. Stand by for Tom and Lock and Load.
All right. It's Gun Talk again. Yeah, I'm Tom Gresham because I'm the only guy crazy enough to do this silly stuff. Talking about guns all the time. Yeah, not just on the air. I mean, pretty much all the time. It's okay. 50-plus years of doing this, 20 years on the air, and we're still going strong. Glad you could be with us. Now's a chance for you to call your friends, your neighbors, and say, hey, there's somebody talking about guns on the radio, but he actually knows what he's talking about. Oh, how strange. A lot of things going on, a lot of things to talk about. We've got a monstrous opinion coming out of the Ninth Circuit. Yes, the Ninth Circus Court of Appeals in California, which says, yes, concealed carry is something that Californians need to be able to have. In other words, what they said was California, specifically San Diego in this case, but applies to all of California, cannot say you cannot have a concealed carry permit. They made it too difficult. We'll talk about that, and will it make its way to the Supreme Court? We'll also be talking with the author of the Shooter's Bible Guide to Home Defense, as well as an open carry advocate who was successful in his defense of open carry. We'll also be getting your comments, your calls, your range reports, if there's a gun or ammo or something that you've taken to the range that you like. Maybe what you didn't like, I don't know. And if you've got some questions, if you're thinking about buying a gun, by all means, give us a call. If you're trying to figure out how can I have a gun in my home and have it ready for self-defense, but keep it securely, well, that's something we talk about all the time. Glad to have that conversation with you. A lot of things happening. We're getting ready to start the season of, actually, we've been kind of into it already, but just really getting cranked up. Shooting video for our various television shows. We'll be doing a lot of online video. We're going to be shooting for 3 days with champion shooter Rob Latham this week. We'll be getting some information, a lot of product information, but also how-tos from him, and you'll be seeing those on the website as well. By the way, if you're not familiar, go to our YouTube channel. It's just look for Gun Talk Media on YouTube. You'll see what we're talking about. We've got the First Person Defender series as well as the Gun Talk and the Guns and Gear video series and the television shows there. Now, if you want to be a part of the madness here, that's very easy. All you have to do is give us a call. It's 866-TALK-GUN or just dial 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Twitter is up and running. I'm at Gun Talk over there. And, of course, you can always shoot me an email. It's tom@guntalk.com. Now, there is a new group, and it's been described a lot of different ways. Some people say it's a gun safety group. Some people say it's a gun control group. Seems to be a lot of, well, at least buzz, a lot of maybe noise, and maybe some skepticism. When we come back, we'll talk with the founder of this new group, so don't go far.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
Successful hunters know big bucks move early and late, often when it's too dark for common scopes. When that monster steps out, you might see him through the scope, but the crosshairs disappear. All that work and you can't take the shot. But with the Trigicon AccuPoint scope, you'll get the shot. Its bright aiming point glows in daylight or darkness. No batteries needed. AccuPoint scopes are water-resistant and nitrogen-filled, feature multi-layer coated lenses for the brightest image, and you can adjust brightness of the aiming point to match the conditions. Adding 10 or 15 minutes to each end of the day can double the magic moments when the trophies move. You can't hit the target if you can't see the sights. Trigicon AccuPoint scopes. Check out the different models at Trigicon.com or call 1-800-338-0563. Brilliant aiming solutions from Trigicon.
The Ruger SR45, a large caliber pistol with a trim, ergonomic profile. Like the popular Ruger SR9 and SR40, the SR45 is perfectly sized to be comfortable and controllable with a slim, ergonomic grip and narrow slide. It features an adjustable 3-dot sight system, Ruger's unique reversible back strap, an ambidextrous manual safety and magazine release, and built-in Picatinny rail. The Ruger SR45, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
Be sure and register for the XS Sights Love at Front Sight giveaway. Grand prize winner gets a Remington 870 Tactical Express Shotgun with XS front and rear sights, custom lasered with the XS Sight and Gun Talk logos. 10 winners will win an XS Sights Good Guy swag bag, complete with a $200 gift certificate to put toward a pair of XS Sights. Enter to win right now at guntalk.com/win through February 28th. Good luck, and now back to Tom.
Oh, yeah, we give away stuff. We like our stuff, our gear. We also like to shoot. We like our training. And, of course, if you've been listening for any period of time, we're just now entering our 20th year on the air with Gun Talk Radio. And from the very beginning, I kept saying, here's the deal. We're not going to talk about doing things unsafely. We are the safe guys. We're the responsible people. We are the ones, frankly, that you don't hear a lot about. We're the tens of millions of gun owners who do it right, and unfortunately the media focuses on those who don't do it right. But then again, look, to be fair, as I say, when you arrive at somebody's house, you don't go on and on about how all 4 tires stayed full, but if you have a flat, you talk about that one. You talk about the anomaly. There is a relatively new group that has come out and actually getting a lot of ink, a lot of buzz right now because that's what they're about. The group is called Evolve, and joining us right now is the group's founder, Rebecca Bond. Rebecca, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you and your husband, John, are marketing media specialists, I gather. That's your background, correct?
That's our background.
Okay. And as such, you've been able to get some pretty good buzz going on about Evolve. You got this new video out, Don't Be a Dumbass, basically shows the Founding Fathers discussing the Second Amendment and taking out the addition that supposedly was there at the beginning. You can have a gun as long as you're not a dumbass. So your position is you can't have a gun if you're a dumbass? What is that about?
Actually, our position is you can have a gun, but we're saying don't be a dumbass. So
well, that's not what the video says.
Is using audacious humor, which does get attention. I think you've referenced that a lot, is that we've gotten a lot of attention. But we're talking about not being a dumbass, which can apply to a lot of instances.
Okay, how did the group come about? Tell people who aren't familiar with it what Evolve is and how it got started.
Sure. Well, first of all, I should say I'm from Minnesota, so I'm from gun country, and not the, we've been painted, I know, as, the slick New York ad people. I can't do anything about my husband. He's from New York. But after Sandy Hook, when that incident happened, it was one of those kind of unconscionable moments for a lot of people in this country, gun owners, non-gun owners. We heard from all of them. But our first reaction was, this is not about legislation, this is about behavior. So if you could take on personal behavior, both my husband and I have worked in industries where it's about promoting personal behavior. I've worked in liquor and beer. He's also worked in that as well. And so we said, this is, if people make the right choices. So, we're working on promoting behavior versus legislation. And that's what we've always believed in. And we had a lot to learn. And Saatchi & Saatchi, which created the Don't Be a Dumbass campaign, their head of creative was a sniper shooter in the military. And so from the very beginning, we brought gun people in. And I said, this needs to start with being advocated and led by gun people. And that doesn't mean that non-gun owners don't get behind it. We looked at kind of the model of responsible drinking and promoting that, which can include people who drink or don't drink. But, how do you look at social norms, and how do you use peer pressure to put pressure on people to do the right thing versus legislative pressure?
All right. But let me ask you, this came out of your reaction to Newtown, where obviously a young man killed his mother to get her guns. How does Don't Be a Dumbass apply there?
Don't Be a Dumbass applies to a lot of things. If you look at lot of things...
No, wait. I said, how does it apply to Newtown?
Well, first of all, that mother was a dumbass. So,
how so?
It's probably not a strong enough word for that.
How so?
Wait. Different choices.
Was she a dumbass because she allowed her son to kill her, to murder her, to take her guns? How is that being a dumbass?
Well, I spoke to a gun shop owner. I've talked to a lot of people about the Newtown situation, but when we were talking about it, I said if she had come in and talked about her son and suggested that she was going to take up shooting with her son, given who he was and his behaviors, I said, what would you have said to her? And he said to me, I would have told her to take up camping.
Okay, so your position is she's responsible for her own death.
She could have made different choices. We don't know. We don't know if that would have changed anything.
All right, let me ask you, when you formed this group, it almost sounds as though, and I know I've read a lot, you said you want a third voice in this. So you're not the gun owners, you're not the gun rights group, you're not the gun control group, you're somewhere in the middle, and you're the safety group. But it almost sounds as though you're saying there was nobody doing anything about safety before this.
There are people doing things about safety, but when we looked at the industry, we said, first of all, it's fragmented. And so when you look at it, where's the message? Friends don't let friends drink and drive. So you don't have that national message, something that's memorable, something that's iconic. And I know there's been some activity on Twitter with the NSSF and things like that. And we've looked at them a lot. We've said, they've probably made the most inroads as far as creating a concept, but something like that requires a lot of resources and a lot of support and people working together. And we don't think that's a side. So I know, Larry Keene, he mentioned that we're a false flag. We are so far from being a false flag. So he doesn't have to like the campaign, by the way. So I'd be happy to talk to him about another campaign. But we're not a false flag.
Okay. How do you address the fact that over the last 2 decades, we've had tremendous successes? Gun violence is down 40% in 20 years. Childhood shootings is down more than 50% in the last 20 years as a result of the education programs primarily put on by the gun industry and by gun owner groups. We've had a phenomenal, that would be banner headlines if those were increases, but somehow the media doesn't report on that. And in fact, Pew Research polls say that the public thinks that gun crime is going up at a time when it's going down drastically.
But that's because I think safety has become politicized. And so I actually think that those headlines should be promoted, but it's never going to be enough. We shouldn't stop here.
Well, nobody says we've been doing the job. What I'm saying is you're new on the scene and you're acting as though, wow, nothing's been done. And we're saying we've had a 40% reduction in gun violence and a 50% reduction in children being killed by guns. And so I'm asking you, what do you bring to this that's different or is going to be more effective than what we've been doing? How is your message any different?
I think if you ask most people on the street, first of all, we think that it should include gun owners and non-gun owners. And if you go to Project Child Safe, they would tell you they can only distribute 30% of the locks because they don't have the funding to meet the demand. So first of all, everyone should be working together on this.
I'm still waiting. What are you going to do about this? Because of course you understand that the reason that Project Child Safe doesn't distribute as much as they would like is because the U.S. government cut $50 million out of the budget that was being used to distribute the gun safety programs. So our presidential administration is the one that has cut that off.
It's become politicized. I think that's what I'd like to get back to, is that, safety is not political, and there are better ways that they can do it. Now, we might disagree we might think they can do it better. So we do think they can do a better job. We also think by collaborating with other people and other stakeholders, they can lift up that campaign on a national level, and they can distribute all those locks, but they can also do a lot of other things.
Now, when your group tweets that you have a right to own a gun, but not any gun, what does that mean?
I don't know what tweet that is.
Well, I'm just telling you, this is something that came out of Evolve, where you have a right to own a gun, but not any gun. What does that mean?
I don't know if you can tell me when the tweet was. It doesn't sound familiar at all.
So you're not familiar with that at all?
So, no, but if you can send it to me, I'm happy to respond to it.
Well, no, I'm just asking you about it. So there it is. You're saying that you don't think it happened. So that's.
No, we look at gun ownership in this country as it exists, and we say, how can we address safety in the various segments? So if you look at different industries, for example, the liquor and beer industry, they take a segmentation approach to their safety marketing, and they partner with a number of people. They just did a Super Bowl ad with an NFL player, and you'll see that they do specific campaigns during specific times of the year when there would be a spike in drinking.
We already do that. We've been doing that for 50 years.
It's hard to find. I haven't actually seen where the ad dollars are being spent, and I see the partnerships, but I don't actually know what's happening. And I don't think the country, I think putting that out there, if there's that much going on, then I think you should promote the heck out of it.
We do.
But I think telling the country that as well is important.
You're assuming that it's not being done. That's my very point, is that you come into this knowing nothing, you have no idea what the history is, and you're trying to tell us what we need to be doing when I'm telling you this is all being done, and it has been done over the last 50 years. So I'm asking you, how do you come in and make this?
What gets said on the sites, for example, Project Child Safe, they have a video on there, and they have 93 views. But we have 30,000 views on Don't Be a Dumbass.
Mm-hmm. And I've got 1 million views on my website, so there you go.
Well, you do a good job promoting safety.
Okay, yeah, but I don't say you have a right to own a gun, but not any gun. So no. I'm just telling you, you are viewed by many, and I tend to agree with them, as someone who has come in here who's frankly naive, maybe well-intentioned, but I think you don't know what the heck you're talking about, and I don't think you understand what has gone on before, and you certainly are not giving credit to those who are the stakeholders, the people who own the guns, because you can't change gun owner behavior by talking to non-gun owners. That's not going to happen unless the goal is to get non-gun owners to somehow shame gun owners by asking questions. Do you have a gun in your home?
That's not the intention, and our group has gone straight to the gun community. So I've been to gun shows. I was at SHOT Show. I spend most of my days talking to gun owners. Mm-hmm.
So what do you get out of that?
And by the way, I would be happy to talk to any of these groups. What happens, or manufacturers, what happens is we've had manufacturers who want to work with us, and then what they say, someone threatens to cut off their distribution of product, and then they can't work with us.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you, again, it's probably not fair because I've got 50 years of experience in this industry, and you're new here. So I'm trying to explain. We have seen many, many groups come along and say, we're going to be the other group. We're going to be the ones in the middle. We're going to speak to both groups, when in fact, in 100% of the time, they've always been a gun control group or someone who wants to have more restrictions on gun ownership. And after a while, we look at the latest group, which happens to be you, and say, we're not going to take you at your word. We're going to have to see what you're up to here, because our long history shows us that it's never been the case. What you're saying you are, that's never been the case before. Maybe you are, but I want you to understand why you're getting the reception you're getting.
I completely get that, Tom. I have had so many hard meetings with people and been put through the paces, and I'm willing to do it over and over again.
Let me ask you a question.
People is we're going to keep at it and keep trying, and anyone out there who is willing to meet with us, we will talk to them.
Will you help us put Eddie Eagle program into every school in America so we can teach gun avoidance to children?
I would meet with the Eddie Eagle people in a second.
Would you help us do that? Would you help us push this and put gun safety training into every school in America, the Eddie Eagle program? Not meet with them. Would you get behind
look at the program, but I wouldn't say that that's the end goal until we sit down and talk about it. But I'd be happy to meet with them. I've called them.
Mm-hmm. And?
They haven't. They returned my call, and then they said they would get back to me.
Okay. So, are you okay with the idea of
gun
having
an out there?
Are you okay with the idea of teaching this?
All I can say is that I'll talk honestly, and what I say is what I mean, and I believe as we go forward, we just have to keep doing it and proving who we are. And I understand this comes laden with people who have seen it before. They're suspicious. And so the best I can do is when someone like you calls and says, will you come on my show? Even if I know it's going to be a hard show, I say yes. And
I appreciate that. And for people who want to know more about it, the website is takeonthecode.com, right? Takeonthecode.com?
Yep.
Okay, and you can go there. You can take a look at the Don't Be a Dumbass video, Tales of Dumbassery, basically gun owners being dummies, or dumbasses if you prefer. Obviously, hey, it's getting a lot of buzz, that's what it's about. I hope that you are sincere. I am going to remain skeptical, and I do very much appreciate you taking the time to come here. The group is called Evolve. Rebecca Bond, the founder. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. What do you think? False Flag Group? You've been around a long time. I've been around a while. 866-825-5486, or just dial me one, Tom Talk Gun. What do you think of this group Evolve?
Have you taken your family, friends, and kids shooting lately? You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, and we'll be right back. Want to be a guest on the show? Drop us a line at info@guntalk.com. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, what did you think about Rebecca Bond's message? She's the founder of Evolve. It's a gun safety group. Gun safety, of course. And part of the problem is gun safety has become a term that was co-opted by the gun control, the anti-gun rights groups. And so when somebody comes out and says, we're for gun safety, what my hearing is, it's tuned to think gun control, gun control, gun control. Because you've got all these groups that say, oh, yeah, we're for gun safety. And so, therefore, we're going to restrict the guns you can own. We're going to ban certain guns. We're going to require that the government's involved in every single gun transaction, all in the name of gun safety. So you already have an uphill battle ahead. It's a shame that it's gotten to be that way. I also think, honestly, that she gives absolutely no credit to the NRA for 100 years of gun safety training. The NRA has more gun safety instructors than anybody else in the world. The NRA has trained more law enforcement officers than anybody else in the world. The NRA has a gun avoidance program. It teaches children to avoid guns. It's called the Eddie Eagle program, with tens of millions of children have gone through that. Couldn't quite get her to buy in on that when she said she would talk to somebody there. What did you think? What was your initial impression? Line 2, Bill's with us, Marshall, Texas. Hey, Bill, what did you think of Rebecca Bond?
Well, I'm skeptical just like you, and I agree with everything that you said. I guess my question is, do they own a gun? Did they participate in the gun community?
I think she was a gun owner, probably not in New York, but probably before. But, Bill, I got to tell you, I've kind of landed on the place where I don't care anymore because I keep hearing from people who say, well, I'm a gun owner and I want to ban guns. I mean, you got the Gabrielle Giffords, Mark Kelly group. We're gun owners. We like to shoot, but we do want to take your guns away. Time and time again, I hear well, I'm a gun owner, but I do believe in reasonable restrictions. I'm going, yeah, you know what? And when she says the creative director on this was a Marine or an Army sniper, I don't care. I don't care what their background is. If somebody wants to restrict guns, and unfortunately, there are a lot of gun owners, politicians, people in power who say, well, I'm a gun owner, I'm a hunter, but then they'll turn right around and say, but, you shouldn't be able to own those kind of guns. So I guess the answer is, yeah, I think that she said she did do some shooting or some hunting maybe when she was growing up. But bottom line is I don't think I care. I don't think it affects my decision as to her message at all. Appreciate that, Bill. Erica's on line 1 out of Kansas. Hello, Erica.
Hi, Tom. I'd like to make a comment about the lady that you had on.
Sure.
My opinion is she doesn't know what the heck she's talking about. You brought up several programs that's already in place for safety and all, and it sounded like she didn't have any idea what some of the programs were.
Well, she's new, and I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt on some of this, and frankly, I was trying to make a point. And I know people say, well, you were a little rough on her. So, well, you know what? Probably not nearly as rough as some people have been at this point. Trying to make the point that, look, you're brand new to this, and you don't know what has gone on before. Or at the very least, even if she knows it, she doesn't give us credit for it. Gun violence is down 40% in 20 years. Banner headlines if it had gone up 40%, but it went down. What did we get out of that? Crickets. Nothing from the media. Child accidental shootings down, let's see here, 48%. But when you take into the population growth, the rate of child firearms fatalities has fallen 56%. That's at a time when the number of handguns went up 216%. So handgun ownership is up 216%. Childhood accidental firearms fatalities down 56%. I think we're doing it right. I think we've got this thing going in the right direction. Whether or not you'd say that's enough, no one's ever going to say it's enough. One accidental shooting of a child is too much. Any gun violence, well, actually, you know what, I'm going to correct that. Some gun violence is good. Tom, you can't believe you said that. Yes, indeed. Detroit, this weekend, on 2 different occasions, a home invasion and an attempted carjacking, the intended victims turn around and shot and killed their attacker. That's good gun violence. It's tragic. I wish it weren't necessary, but I would rather that than have the bad guys shooting and raping the good guys. So not all gun violence is necessarily bad. Or do you disagree? Line 4, Chuck's with us out of Crosby, Texas. Chuck, what do you think?
I think I put her in the same category as Poison Ivy. I believe she's just trying to get attention. She's come up with some glitzy campaign. She has no idea on God's green earth what she's doing. She's never been a part of the gun world. She has no idea how much work we've all done. And even if she has good intentions, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I think she's going to cause more trouble than she could possibly be worth. I would just avoid this like the plague.
All right, Chuck, thanks. Appreciate that. I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt, generally. On this issue, having seen this almost identical thing pop up at least a half a dozen, maybe a dozen times, and all of them end up being false flag organizations where they were created by people who want to push gun control. And look, they may not even know they're pushing gun control. They think, well, it's only reasonable that you should be held responsible if somebody steals your gun and you don't report it. That should be a crime. Really? Really? If somebody steals my gun, if somebody steals my car and I don't report it, that's not a crime. Why would it be with a gun? Well, it's amazing how many times they think that's responsible, that's reasonable. But if you said, gee, could you apply those same things to, I don't know, call it the First Amendment? They would be screaming, prior restraint, you can't do that to us. Yeah, well, you want to do it to us. I don't know. I'd love to get your impression. The new group's called Evolve. Their video says, don't be a dumbass, and it does portray gun owners and the founding fathers as being goofball dumbasses. What do you think of that? 866-TALK-GUN.
Ever thought about building your own AR-15? Well, what about building your own AR-15 lower receiver? We're HLF Manufacturing, and we make 80% lowers. Build your rifle the way you want it. Use the parts you want. Have it all shipped to your home. We also have uppers, parts, and other things you need. We even have complete build kits to make it really easy. Visit HLFMFG.com for the whole story.
So you want to shoot clay targets, maybe some skeet or trap? Sure, but ammo's hard to find. So load your own ammo, as generations have done with Mech Reloaders. Save money and discover a fun hobby. It's simple, and you can customize loads for different kinds of shooting. Always have ammo on hand. Stock up when there's nothing in the stores. Get started now. Visit mechreloaders.com. That's mecreloaders.com.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training, and you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now Gun Talk presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better, no matter what style pistol you prefer. At ShopGunTalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. ShopGunTalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
Want your opinion to make a difference? Log on to our website and take the Gun Talk poll, www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Tom.
All right, back with you, 866-825-5486. Chuck is on line 2 out of Mississippi. Hey, Chuck, you got an AR-15?
Yes, sir. I have 3 of them. I enjoy them. They're one of my favorites. Rifles to shoot. I don't hunt with them, but I do talk, and I teach my young child too. But my question today is, I'm not so worried about my pistols and my hunting rifles, but I am worried about my so-called, what they want to call assault rifles, which they are, is not, that doesn't even stand for assault rifle.
Nope.
Are we getting to a point where, are we going to have to start hiding those type of guns? And is it possible for the president to make an executive order to ban a particular gun such as that?
It's an interesting question. Actually, two questions. One is, are we at the point where we start hiding our guns? I would say we're never at that point, and I'll tell you why in a second. Although the folks in Connecticut, you've got a lot of people who did not register their modern sporting rifles, which is what an AR-15 is. It's a modern sporting rifle. They didn't register them when required as a form of civil disobedience, and I think that's a wonderful thing. I think civil disobedience in many cases is exactly what is necessary. But let's go strictly to the question of, can the president issue an executive order to ban a particular type of gun? No. Well, look, Generalissimo Barack Obama from some South American country, because he operates that way of just making up laws or ignoring laws he doesn't like, he can try to do a lot of things. This one, he knows better, because he knows gun control is a losing issue for the Democrats. Continues to be. He gave it a lick and a promise in the State of the Union address. He did a bump and run. Touched it. Yeah, I think he said 2 sentences about it and then ran away as fast as he could. I don't think I can see that coming. But I'm going to circle right back to your original comment here, Chuck, and that is, are we at the point where we're going to need to hide our guns? Here's my point on that. That won't happen if you take action now. Because if they're coming door to door to take your guns, the battle is already nearly lost. Because we didn't take action at the first shots. And the first shots have already been fired in this battle. These are verbal shots. These are legislative shots. What I'm saying is, real simply, you got to get involved. Every single one of us. Trust me, in Mississippi, there are people trying to pass gun control laws. In every single state, there are people in the state legislature trying to pass laws to take away your gun rights and maybe even take away your guns. So are you a member of your state's gun owner organization? Are you a member of the NRA, of course, and Second Amendment Foundation, and Gun Owners of America, and all the rest of them? And I love it. People say, well, I don't belong to this one, but I like the other. I don't care. Belong to something. Or even better, belong to all of them. Because they're all doing something good. None of them are perfect. But get involved in your state group, and not just join, but get involved. When they're having a gathering at the State House, take the day off work and go join them. If we fight it now, we're not going to be looking at a question of, should I bury my guns? Because let me tell you, if you bury them, they got them. David's on line 3 out of Oregon. Hello, David.
Hello, Tom. Good show. Interesting guest. A couple questions. One is this commercial business? Who's paying her to do this? Number 2 is, she says she puts videos on there of dumbasses. Well, why doesn't she put some people doing good things with guns, make them smart butts or something, but show some good things happening with guns if they're going to put the dumbasses out there?
Well, first question first. Who's paying her? Of course, Saatchi & Saatchi is a multi-million, maybe billion-dollar advertising company, agency. They did all this work pro bono. They did it for free. I don't know who's paying Rebecca and John. I don't know where they're getting their money on this. If they may be independently wealthy for all I know. I don't know. But yeah, you'd think that you would at least celebrate the gun safety programs that have been so very effective so far. We have a 40% reduction in gun violence, a 50% reduction in children being killed with guns. Where's the celebration of that? Because really what I get, a lot of her message is, nothing's been done. Or then she backpedals and says, well, not enough has been done. Well, you're never going to have enough. But could you at least give credit where credit is due? For those of us who've been doing this for our entire lives, and you come in and want to say, dumbasses? I'm sorry, that does not make me feel really good.
You don't have to agree with Tom to participate in the show. Call now with any of your concerns about guns, gun rights, or particular firearms, or suggestions for your shooting activity or personal protection. 1-866-825-5486. Gun Talk is coming right back.
All right, just looking at a story in the New York Times. Joe Nocera, he's the anti-gun guy who writes a column there, piece that he wrote about Rebecca Bond, about a year ago. Love the last line. Quoting her, Rebecca, she says, "Maybe I'll turn out to be naive, but I'm optimistic." Maybe so. I don't know if she's naive. I don't know what's going on. I would like to give her the benefit of the doubt. I think probably naive, uninformed. Probably, frankly, a product of having read the New York Times and listened to the New York media for so long, she actually thinks that stuff is true. She actually believes the stuff that they put out and doesn't give any credence to the decades or the century of gun safety training that we gun owners have put out there. The millions and millions and millions of people that we have taught gun safety to. Now, having said that, it is absolutely true that humans are humans. And humans are going to do dumb stuff. And they do dumb stuff with weed whackers and lawnmowers and swimming pools and cars and guns. No doubt. And that's partly why we want to continue to do the training that we do. And if they were to come in and help with that, then I'd say, you know what, that's probably something we ought to have a conversation about. I tend to judge people by the people I hang out with, their associations. When you start looking at John and Rebecca, you find a lot of people around them who are very tied in with Bloomberg. You find people around them who are very tied into the gun ban movement. And while that may not be enough in and of itself, it certainly is enough to make me say, you know, I don't think I'm going to buy in on this quite yet. We're going to wait and see. John is on line 1 out of Pennsylvania. Hello, John.
Hey, Tom. How are you today?
Good.
Hey, I'm worried about that man who called in just a few calls ago about the president wanting to ban guns, certain guns, and take away the guns.
Right.
I've heard Charlie Schumer out there saying that they're not going to take away the guns you need to hunt with. Nobody's asking what those guns are. Now, you know as well as I do that you can kill every game animal in North America, from a quail to a polar bear, with a 12-gauge single-shot shotgun. And at the end of the day, Charlie Schumer's going to say that's all you need.
Well, look at what they're doing with magazine capacity right now. They say, well, you know, 30 rounds is too many. Colorado, we're going to go to 15 rounds. Except in other states, it's 10 rounds. And then in New York, it's 7 rounds. And it's a race to the bottom because the perfect number, of course, is 0. Because what their attitude is, you don't need anything. You don't need a gun. You don't need a gun for protection. That's why we have 911. That's like saying we don't need the fire extinguisher. That's why we have the fire department, of course. It's idiotic on the face of it. The only people who are going to be there when it happens are the intended victims. I mean, just this weekend in Detroit, we got 2 different instances, thank you, where people have defended themselves. Kill the bad guys who were trying to rob them, carjack them, do a home invasion. Yeah, I know, Charlie Schumer, we're not going to take all your guns away. Anytime somebody says we're not going to take your hunting guns away, or we believe in the right to hunt, then you know you're talking to a gun banner. They do want to take them all away. They just know they can't do it all at once. So they say 30 rounds is too many. Oh, wait a minute. 15 rounds is too many. Oh, 10 rounds. Maybe 10. No, 10 rounds is too many too. We'll make it 7. Oh, shoot. Well, you don't really need 7. Maybe a 2-shot Derringer. You know what? What the heck? You don't need anything at all because we know better. We're going to take care of you. Yeah, right. When we come back, we'll talk about a guide to home defense. What's in your home and what systems do you have in play?
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.